Hello, Auburn family. This is Jason Campbell, your host on the Own to Victory podcast, or our collective here at Auburn. Man, we got a special show tonight. Everyone knows we had a big game on Saturday. This team coming off a win against Mississippi State last weekend and get a chance to go to Vanderbilt, get a chance to go to Nashville. And, we got two former faces on the Auburn team that knows a little bit about Vanderbilt. And I think they can tell us a lot more than probably me or anybody else at Auburn. So welcome, Elijah. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. This has been a season of kind of roller coaster. You start off 3-0, then you lose four SEC games in a row, and then you get Mississippi State back at home last week, and you back on the winning side of things. How the season? How's it feeling for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's been a season of runs, and I think we're on the third run coming up, back end stretch, and hopefully we can run the table and do what we want to do. But as far as me, I've been pleased with the way we've grown as a team throughout the year. I've been happy with how we've shown resilience through the meat of our schedule, and continue to, although not end up with wins on the score sheet, we built you know. Good winning habits in a way throughout those games, and kind of learned how good we can be, which will set a foundation up, not only for this year, but not only for the many games on the schedule this year, but for the future. I mean, and personally, I feel like I'm, continuing to grow as a player, making the plays that come to me, do what I can to compromise that defense. So overall, I feel good. And like I said, I feel great about where we're going to end up this season.
Yeah, you talk about that, that learning curve for this whole team and everything. Like that had to be a tough stretch. You go to A&M, you get LSU, you got Georgia, you got Ole Miss, and you know it's going to be a tough gauntlet at that time. But just talk about, you know, the toughness part of it. Like, you go through a stretch like that, but then last week y'all come out to win against Mississippi State. From inside a locker room, what was y'all like? Confidence, morale, like during that tough stretch, and then like understanding how you dig yourself out of it and come out against Mississippi State and continue to play hard.
Yeah, I think it was like as a player, you're frustrating at times because you're not winning the games. But we knew that we were playing well enough to win in a way, with a handful of plays here or there, and Ole Miss, A&M, and Georgia. So we were confident in our ability and how we could turn the season around. Just a matter of how quickly we wanted to do it, and getting that win last week against Mississippi State allowed us to kind of set a precedent for where we want to end up this year. And like I said, it was tough to lose those games, and in the locker room we were a little frustrated, but we knew we had to stay true to the process, and in order to get the wins.
Yeah, because you look at how things can shape up towards the end of the season. You always want to take them one game at a time, but for me, it just shows like, hey, you start off pretty good. All of a sudden, you hit a tough stretch. Like you said, there were some tough games in there that either could have went either way. But then you learn from it, you mature as a team. So you get the win last week. But if you can stack up a few wins here before you get to the Iron Bowl, and the Iron Bowl can be a bigger bowl for us, and it can be us knocking them out of the SEC West championship race. So it's just so much still to play for, and so much in front of you guys. But as you gear up to go back, what I call home, just because you was there for 4 years and everything at Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt has always to me gave great guys, like I mean, great character guys and hardworking guys and guys that don't complain. I was able to play with a couple of them in the pros, and they've always like just solid dudes, man. And you kind of know what you're getting when you go to Vandy. That they're gonna fight you hard. It's gonna be a tough game. Uh, I know when we played there, we ended up winning 24-21 one time, and it was a dogfight.
Yeah.
It's just a dogfight. What's the mentality that you guys should expect when you walk into Vanderbilt on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, being in that locker room for the last 4 years, and knowing what it's like to play a team like Auburn, a team that has a ton of tradition, that has high level players with the logo walking in. I know in that locker room they're preaching that they have a huge opportunity to knock off a team that has great tradition, and knock off a team that has notoriety in this league, and in this in the country, and they're confident that they can have an opportunity to change the trajectory of their program by making a statement win like this, particularly at home where it's tough to play for opposing people, because there's not a lot of fanfare and like sold out crowds that we have and in our stadium. So it's a game that can sneak up on you if you let it. So I know in that locker room they're preaching the opportunity that they have to knock off a team that has great notoriety like Auburn.
Yeah, that's the thing about Vanderbilt is because, some people saying, well, they lost to Ole Miss, so now they know they're probably out of bowl contention. But I'm just like, you still got games to play. These guys still playing for their futures. I was just like, college football now is almost like NFL, where either you're going to show up or you're going to be replaced. So, this is the opportunity for them to put on film and everything moving forward. And they're under a renovation. They was having over 40,000 people right now doing a renovation, so they're only allowing 28,000 people to be in the game. But the renovation is going to be nice when they finish. Supposed to be done in 2 years. But when you talk about, just the fan base perspective, how is it, as like when you guys are out in the community, how do they look at y'all and when you was in Vandy at the time?
I mean, it's a little different. A lot of SEC schools are huge state schools, and they have a ton of people invested in the program, particularly because a lot of people that go to that school. Whereas Vanderbilt's only 7,000 undergrads, so you don't get
Mhm.
the love from the amount of love from the people on campus as you do as a big university like here. But as far as walking around and feeling that love and support from the program, you do get that just on a smaller scale because there's not that many
Yeah.
people, and you're in the middle of a city. Um, so it's just a little difficult. It can be frustrating at times when you're a player and you see these other schools, particularly in your league, who are getting sold out crowds and getting love and accolades and just feel like the college experience that they're getting is great and you're not getting that. It's just different because there's such a small sample size of graduate students, and it's in the heart of a city that has country music and hockey, and you have to balance those things. So it's definitely different.
There's a lot going on besides just football there. Of course, you got the Titans, but at the end of the day, you got some great food as well. A lot of options to go out and eat and do different things. I'm looking forward to myself Friday night trying to get me a good dinner somewhere. So it's a lot of options in Nashville. I actually like Nashville as a city. It's really nice. Um, Talk about the game a little bit. You're going to get some of your former guys that personally. You've seen them in practice. You put on the helmet with them. How do you feel emotionally? How do you feel like, I know it's kind of weird sometimes seeing some of your former guys. I remember the next level when I played a former team that I was once quarterback of. It was that weird feeling at first, and you just couldn't wait to get the game started so you can kind of like just get to playing football. How's it been for you this week?
Yeah, it's been a little, like you said, a little weird. Just these are friends I've shared 4 years of experience with, and that
Yeah.
are like my best friends. I mean, like we talk all the time, and just hanging out and talking about life outside of football, mental health, everything in between. So it's gonna be a little weird at first, and I think I'm just really prepared to get the game kicked off, so I can get that weirdness out and just focus on playing at my level and like playing with confidence and more confidence in a way than I would another game because I know the opponent so well. And I do know that they're better than their record shows. I know the
Mhm.
guys in the locker room. I know the talent they have on that roster. Um, Although they haven't shown it particularly throughout every single week and every single game, I do know they played Georgia tough for 3 quarters at their place, and I know that they have some talent in that locker room. So I'm excited to go against them, and I'm excited to represent Auburn, against my former team, my guys, and just get the game kicked off so we can get all the weirdness out.
Yeah. Are you expecting a lot of people here at your
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
Family?
A lot of people. So my dad, my aunt and uncle, on my dad's side come to every single game. I haven't missed a game since I don't even remember middle school probably. But my mom and my younger siblings don't get to go to a lot of games because they're younger. They got school. They got everything in between. But
Yeah.
they're actually coming to this one, which is nice. So I have both sides of my family, former friends. It'd be a nice family affair for me because they know the stadium. They know at Nashville. They know I'm coming back to a place where I spent a lot of years. So I have my whole family there. And I'm so excited because it's a rare occasion. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Nah, that's awesome, man. I can't wait to see it for you. And you know, you hope you go out there and be healthy and have a great game and everything. Look at their roster from an offensive standpoint. They play three different quarterbacks. I know Swan was supposed to be the guy, and he kind of got nicked up. Then they kind of turned to Ken Seals. He's a senior. One of the guys kind of been around for a little bit, veteran. But then they got this Walter Taylor kid. That's big kid, 6'4". You know, Actually, the guy listed at 6'7", 235 pounds. That's a big quarterback, man. You almost talk about somebody the same size as a DN. Like, just talk a little bit about how are y'all preparing to see all three guys because you really just don't know who they're going to start just yet. But
Yeah,
how do you prepare like mentally for that?
yeah. I mean, all three guys bring different things to the table, and we've had to play some two quarterback teams so far this year. Even the last week we were trying to prepare for Will Rogers and then Mike Brett as well. So Coach Roberts does a great job of just getting us prepared for who we're going to face and all different things. But like I said, I kind of know each person's skill set to a
Yeah.
T, and know everything that they're going to try to do with them and try to showcase their skill sets. But preparing in all ways for all three quarterbacks, I don't think it changes our approach of how we want to play defense regardless of who's that quarterback. I think sometimes the calls will change because of based off what the quarterback can do. But as far as what we want to do as a defense, doesn't change who's that quarterback. Creating turnovers, creating havoc plays and running to the ball, moving fast. So yeah, whoever we'll see, I know we'll be prepared for.
Yeah, before I let you get out of here, man, I know you know a little bit about their defense. CJ Taylor, he seems to be an absolute talent. The guy has 2 picks, 52 total tackles on the year. Like, what makes him go? Like, what's his go to?
Yeah, he's just a ball player. I've like we call him Mr. Football, like it's because he just that's all he knows, that's all he does, and he can
Yeah.
play anywhere in the country, and that's a a rarity in some ways. You know, in that locker room, like, he can play
Mhm.
anywhere in the country, and I truly believe that because he just makes plays. He has a knack for the football. He reminds me of DK in the way he plays. He just goes 100 miles an hour around the ball, whether that's coverage, tackles, big plays, interceptions, fumbles, everything in between. So that's a kid I've known for a long time, and a kid I know that is excited to play and excited to make plays against us because he can do it. But yeah, he's just a young ball player. He don't really do too much.
Yeah.
Don't worry about nothing but making plays and getting to the football, and he showcased that for the past few years.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, man. Like you said, he can play anywhere in the country. And the other guy, Will Shepherd, he's
Yes,
probably gonna leave Vanderbilt as one of the, legends to
yeah,
play at Vanderbilt. This guy's been an absolute stud, since he's been there. And I'm pretty sure you know Will very well as well. And I know you have to pay attention to him a lot when you're on the field, knowing where he's at every time he lines up because he is their game changer. And so just from a standpoint from defensively, man, how do you contain a Will Shepherd?
yeah. A guy who has I think probably 17, 18 touchdowns the last 2 years combined, and is gonna
Right.
end up breaking I wouldn't say breaking school record, but he's gonna be end up in the top three touchdowns, and I don't
Mhm.
care where you go, that's a lot to
Yeah.
do, especially at the receiver position. It's an athletic kid, kid a guy that I hosted when he was at Vandy, so I've known him forever. Just a guy who just a possession jump ball receiver, right? Former
Yeah.
basketball guy. He's not gonna wow you with his routes, but he does have really good straight line speed and sneaky athleticism because he's a long dude. So just you got to get a body on him. You got to use your hands to your advantage, and you got to play basketball with him. You got to go up and get the ball and challenge him in the air because that's what he's going to try to do. Which I believe in our defensive back unit. We've done a great job so far this year, and I think they're prepared for him. I know they're prepared for him. But that's how you kind of contain him. You got to really get a body on him, get hands on him, try to frustrate him at the line of scrimmage, and just play the ball in the air when you can.
Yeah, you talk about touchdowns. He has 21 touchdowns on his career and 8 this season. Like some guys don't get that in the whole 4 years of playing receiver. So, what a stud he is, man. Elijah, thank you for coming on, man. I know you gotta get out, get something to eat. It's linebacker night or Jack linebacker night, whatever y'all call it. I don't know what y'all call it on Thursday nights, but you guys go get full, man. Get ready for travels tomorrow to Nashville, and wish you guys all the best, man. And like I said, I know it can feel weird playing against guys that you known to love like brothers for a long time, but you also have your brothers in the locker room now that you built chemistry with, that you've also grown to be a brotherhood with. So just wish you all the best on Saturday, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for being a great ambassador for Auburn right now. And appreciate it. War Eagle.
Yes, sir. Warrior.
See ya. All right, everybody. That was Elijah McAllister. What a game this weekend for him. Coming into this environment that he's about to face on Saturday. It can be difficult from sometimes just because of the simple fact that you know, you want to beat your former team, but you also, you have respect for them. Just because those are your brothers as well. And off the field, he still has communication with them. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be an odd moment for him. But once the clock starts, it's all about football. And after the game, you'll be able to dap it up, hug it up, and reminisce a little bit about some old times and about where you at in your life at this moment. So, what a great guy, man. Elijah coming onto the show. It's probably the second or third time we've had him on the podcast this year. He's always a stand up guy. And whatever he does after this season, he's gonna be successful. Next, we got coming to the show. You'll find out real soon.